You are now running wild with the most underrated wrestling podcast in the world, WellsMania Podcast. I am your host, WellsMania, the Kyle Wells, aka WellsMania. You know what's also really funny about this is a lot of people who don't know me, who meet me, think my name is Wells. No, that's my last name. My first name is Kyle or the Kyle. So I'm a man of many names: TKW, the Kyle Wells, Mega Mondo, Wells Mania, and the list goes on and on and on. Soon to be dad. I know. We are in October, and my wife is due this month. So thank you all so much for supporting and running wild with Wells Mania Podcast. I don't think you all realize just how much you mean to me and my family. All the support that you give us, whether it's on the Wells Mania TikTok or going to brainbustertees.com and buying the merch. By the way, there's a brand new dad hat on Wells Mania Podcast Brainbuster Tees merch website. So check that out. Um, it just means everything to me. It means everything to me that you care enough to enjoy and be entertained by just me being me. Like, I love talking to all of you about pro wrestling. And we go beyond pro wrestling on the Wells Mania podcast. I mean, we literally talk about anything and everything. Whatever comes to my Hoosier Dome, I usually throw it out there. So I just wanted to say from the jump, thank you all so much for supporting Wells Mania podcast by going to brainbustertees.com and buying the merch, getting on my Wells Mania TikTok live and buying stuff from my showcase. I do get a commission from that. And I'm also on Cameo. You can book Wells Mania on Cameo. I'll cut promos on people. I'll do impressions for you. I'll wish somebody a happy birthday, happy anniversary. We're heading into the holiday season, so there's no more unique of a gift than a cameo from yours truly, Wells Mania. So book Wells Mania on Cameo today. That's a cheap plug right there. This right here, episode 192 of Wells Mania Podcast, streaming exclusively on YouTube. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And if you are already a loyal Wells Maniac, do me another favor and share the Wells Mania Podcast YouTube channel with anybody who you think might be interested. I'm trying to really get my subscriber count up. Once upon a time, before I got thrown through the barbershop window on Spotify, I was running wild and doing a very good job on Spotify. I had over 1,000 followers or subscribers on the Spotify Wells Mania podcast. And unfortunately, I'm no longer on Spotify. So, but I'm right here and you can see me. You can see me. So that's the beauty of Wells Mania Podcast being exclusively on YouTube, is not only can you hear my booming voice, but you can also see this handsome, beautiful man that stands before you. So that's right. I'm always standing. People are always like, Wells Mania, you move a lot when you're doing Wells Mania Podcast. It's because I'm a very active guy, so I like to stand. And plus, I come from the communications world, and standing is better for your voice to get out there. That's a little fun facts for kids. The more you stand, the better you sound. So if you ever see me sitting down, it's probably because my son is here and I'm exhausted. But no, I'm very excited to become a dad this month. This is October. We've got WWE Crown Jewel on October 11th. We are on the road to Perth, Australia. We've also got NXT Invade. What's that? It's not that. Okay. NXT Showdown next week. And then we got Halloween at the end of this month. So October is going to be a lot of fun. It's always one of my favorite months of the year because this officially kicks off the holiday season. So I'm very excited for this month, and most importantly, the birth of my son. So, and also a lot of you have been asking, well, what the hell's his name? You will know his name the day he's born because I will upload a video from the greatest of all time, John Cena, who introduces my son to the world. So stay tuned for that. And speaking of John Cena, well, you know what? I've rambled for 5 minutes. Let's dive right into the official news. John Cena's final match will, in fact, take place on December 13th in Washington, D.C., Saturday night's main event. The last real champion, one last time. And I am going to do my very best to be there in Washington, D.C., to witness John Cena's final match in person. I know it's going to be a challenge because my son will have already been born, and my wife and I will be going into being parents for the first time. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. However, my wife is a superstar champion, and she has already said that if you think that you can afford it, then by all means go. So that's kind of one thing I'm really kind of anxious to see are the ticket prices when the tickets go on sale on October 17th. I know there've already been the on location ticket prices for the first few rows, and I just do not have that kind of money to spend on WWE tickets. So I'll be intrigued to see what the ticket prices are for us normal, everyday, hardworking folk that don't have a ton of money to blow on wrestling tickets. So here is a quote from Triple H. Now, a lot of you love when I do my Triple H impression, so allow me to put on my Triple H bifocals here and read this quote. John's contributions to WWE are immeasurable. There are no words that can truly relay how much he means to this business. Together with our partners at Events DC and Capital One Arena, we look forward to honoring his legacy and delivering an unforgettable send-off for both John and the WWE universe. It is going to be a spectacle full of surprises. I added that last part in there. But yeah, that right there from the game, Triple H. We are getting John Cena's final match at Saturday night's main event in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. And that's another thing. I've never been to Washington, D.C. I have always wanted to go. I'm a sucker for history. I really love the history of our presidents. And I used to know all of the presidents from George Washington all the way up to who would have been when I was in elementary school, Bill Clinton. I used to rattle off all of the presidents from George Washington to Bill Clinton. And it absolutely amazed my teachers and my fellow classmates. And they said, you know, Kyle, one day you might just be the president of the United States of America. And well, I'm 39 years old. And once Donald Trump is done running this country, there's going to need to be a new president in 2028. And I, WWE Hall of Famer, Donald Trump, endorse WellsMania. WellsMania is great, underrated, great, fun, entertaining, and will make America great again. Yeah, so like I said, on Cameo, I can give you a president and WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump impression. It might either satisfy somebody or it might anger somebody. I guess it just depends on which direction you are wanting to go. But yeah, Washington, D.C. is the sports capital and the perfect place to honor John Cena's remarkable legacy, said Angie Gates. She's the president and CEO of Events DC. So a lot of people were surprised that Washington, D.C. is going to be the host for John Cena's final match. Quite frankly, I mean, where else would you want it to be? I know a lot of people were saying Boston. Well, John will be going to Boston on the John Cena farewell tour. We've got 5 dates left on the John Cena farewell tour. And this actually takes me into my booking of John Cena's final 5 opponents. Now, I've been trying so hard not to be fantasy booking here. I'm trying my best to realistically book John Cena's final 5 opponents to my best ability. So we already know that we are on the road to Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia, October 11th. For the last time, it's going to be John Cena versus AJ Styles. Now, this is a match that I always enjoy. John and AJ have great, or should I say, phenomenal chemistry inside the ring, because they did one match where they never went outside the squared circle. They didn't need to. That's how good these guys work together. So, you know, 2 superstars have great chemistry when they keep the action inside the ring, because that's where all the focus is always at. No distractions, just straight up one-on-one John Cena versus AJ Styles. So that is the official match for John's last appearance in Perth, Australia. Friend of the WellsMania podcast, Dylan, you live in Australia, and I almost want to say that you are planning on going to Crown Jewel. So I am beyond jealous. I have never been out of the country before. I would love to go to Australia. And Dylan, in the comments below, what do Australians eat for breakfast? Because WWE Human Encyclopedia Jared Giles, on the past couple episodes of WellsMania Podcast, he has coined WWE Crown Jewel breakfast with WWE, because here in the United States Eastern time, that's what time zone I am on, 8 a.m. is the start time for Crown Jewel. So yes, breakfast with WWE. And in the comments below, what do you plan on eating for breakfast? Not just what do Australians eat for breakfast, but what do you plan on eating for breakfast? Let me know in the comments. I'm always intrigued when we talk about food. I mean, I could talk about food for the rest of this episode of WellsMania. Now, me personally, I think I might make some pancakes, some bacon, some eggs, some toast, and wash it all down with some orange juice. I think that is a really great breakfast to kick off WWE Crown Jewel. Now, I do plan on live streaming and doing a live watch along on the WellsMania TikTok. So if you want to watch Crown Jewel with me, be sure to follow me on TikTok at WellsMania. Now, let's go to the month of November. John's got 3 appearances in November. We've got November 10th, Monday Night Raw in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, if I'm booking from a realistic standpoint, there are a couple of names that I would love to realistically see John wrestle. And the first name that comes to my mind after John beats AJ Styles in Perth, Australia, I think John should go for the one title that has escaped John his entire career. And I'm talking about the Intercontinental title. Dirty Dom is the Intercontinental Champion. Unfortunately, John cannot wrestle Eddie Guerrero. Eddie has passed. And it doesn't appear that Rey Mysterio is going to be in action. Maybe in San Diego, California at Survivor Series. But as far as John versus Rey goes, I don't think we're going to get that match one last time. So this right here would check both boxes because, well, I guess it depends on who you ask. Dom Mysterio's dad is either Eddie Guerrero or Rey Mysterio, but one way or the other, Dom does a great job paying homage to Eddie Guerrero, and of course, being in the Mysterio family with that legacy that goes back decades. So I would love to see John Cena versus Intercontinental Champion Dirty Dominic Mysterio on Monday Night Raw in Boston, Massachusetts, John's home state of Massachusetts. I think that is a great place for John to finally win the Intercontinental title and finally become a WWE Grand Slam champion, beating Dominic Mysterio. So I know I might sound crazy, but crazier things have happened. And that is the match that I think a lot of us would love to see is Dirty Dom versus John Cena for the Intercontinental title. So here we go. November 17th, Monday Night Raw in New York City. One last time in New York City at Madison Square Garden, where John Cena shocked the world, entered number 30 in the 2008 Royal Rumble, and won the 2008 Royal Rumble. So it would be really cool if John pays homage to his entrance that he gave us at that 2008 Royal Rumble right here on Monday Night Raw. Now, as far as who John can defend the Intercontinental title against, there are a couple of names that come to my mind here. Okay. Sheamus is a big name because now you have an opportunity to quote unquote pass the Grand Slam Intercontinental Championship torch to another WWE superstar who has been around for a very long time, but has also not won the Intercontinental title. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to book Intercontinental Champion John Cena versus Sheamus inside Madison Square Garden, and John will drop the title to Sheamus, therefore making Sheamus a Grand Slam champion. I think that would be a really cool moment for John to put over Sheamus. Not that Sheamus needs it. I feel like Sheamus beating John Cena to become the new Intercontinental Champion and also becoming a Grand Slam champion, I just think that that would be a massive thing to put on Sheamus's resume. So that is the match that I'm booking at Madison Square Garden. One last appearance in the Garden for the greatest of all time, John Cena. November 29th to close out the month of November, Survivor Series out in San Diego, California. War Games. This will be John Cena's first and last War Games. So the fact that John will get to be in the War Games match is such a cool way to end his career by getting the opportunity to participate and be a competitor in the War Games match. Now, as far as the teams go, this is something that we will speculate on future episodes of WellsMania Podcast when I bring on Stone Pain Productions, WWE Human Encyclopedia Jared Giles, and who knows, we might get some other special guests on future episodes of WellsMania Podcast. But one thing I do know that I'm going to go ahead and say I would guarantee is John Cena is going to have a team and Brock Lesnar is going to be on the other team. So as of today, if we had to book the teams, I do think that we are going to get the Vision, Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Brock Lesnar. So those four for sure. Now, who the fifth person could be on that team is a mystery. But on the other side, to counter the Vision with Brock Lesnar, you've got just an all-star babyface team of John Cena, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Jey Uso, possibly. Or if you get rid of Punk, you could put in LA Knight. Yeah. Or as a lot of you have been saying, Roman Reigns reuniting the Usos to get them on the same page. You could also have Jimmy Uso on that team as well. So the possibilities are endless. Now, as far as the Vision with Brock Lesnar, I think Drew McIntyre would be a really good fifth member for that team. So that right there, that's a stacked and fully loaded Survivor Series War Games match that is just right there. I mean, all those guys are very capable of being on those two teams. So one way or the other, John Cena is pinning Brock Lesnar to win War Games. John is going to get his revenge from WrestlePalooza, and John is going to conquer the beast, Brock Lesnar, one last time in War Games. Now, I got to take a drink for this one because this is going to get emotional. But I'm going to try my best not to cry on camera. So, you think you're untouchable? No. Talked about it earlier. John Cena's retirement match, his final match, December 13th, Saturday night's main event in Washington, D.C. The $1 million question is, who is going to be John Cena's final opponent? Now, I personally emphasize final because there is a certain storyline that has just been left unattended, no closure. And I'm talking about John Cena versus the final boss, The Rock. 3 times in a lifetime, final time in a lifetime. John Cena versus The Rock. John beats The Rock to get his soul officially back, even though everybody says that it was never about the soul and whatnot. Well, I mean, John gave his soul to The Rock, let's face it, to win number 17 at WrestleMania 41 out in Las Vegas, Nevada. So, to just get complete closure, to put a cherry on top of John Cena's future Hall of Fame career, I think Cena beating The Rock for the final time, riding off into the sunset, is the perfect way to end John Cena's career. Now, I know in the wrestling business, when superstars are in their retirement match, for the most part, they go out on their back. It's not always the case. The Undertaker beat AJ Styles in the graveyard match and literally rode off, and he was not on his back. So doesn't always happen. And I think here at Saturday night's main event, to avoid another Goldberg incident, because Goldberg lost at Saturday night's main event to Gunther, I think you have John beat whoever his opponent is. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that Gunther could be John Cena's final opponent. Honestly, if Gunther was still the world heavyweight champion and didn't get injured and has been dominant this whole time, then yes, I would have been all for John Cena versus Gunther for the world heavyweight title. However, that's not the case. Me personally, I'm going with John Cena versus The Rock, the final time in a lifetime. And I hope to be there in Washington, D.C. on December 13th to witness John Cena's final match. Now, let me know. Let me know in the comments, who do you think will be John Cena's final opponent? Now, I know a lot of you have already, told me on TikTok live or have tweeted at me that you would love to see somehow, some way, Edge be John Cena's final opponent. Like I said, I'm doing my very best to live in reality, although some people might say The Rock is a stretch, but really, is it? Because there's got to be a reason why he has not shown back up. And I think this is the reason right here. And this is a perfect time to bring The Rock back and have him go up against John Cena for the final time in a lifetime. So that is the way that I would book John Cena's final 5 opponents. Let me know in the comments how you would book John Cena's final 5 opponents, and who do you think will be John Cena's final opponent at Saturday night's main event. Let's turn our attention to Crown Jewel. As I said earlier, we are getting John Cena versus AJ Styles. We are also getting Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, where the winner gets the Crown Jewel Championship. And we are also getting a tag team match, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley versus the Kabuki Warriors. That is the most recent match. And we are getting Tiffany Stratton versus, and I'm spacing now who the world heavyweight champion is. But going back to Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, can they coexist? Will they be able to function as a team versus the Kabuki Warriors? This is a perfect opportunity for Io Sky to take out that anger from the hurt that the Kabuki Warriors have caused her by turning on her. And Asuka missed Io Sky in the face. That's personal. That is really personal. Stephanie Vaquer is the women's world champion versus Tiffany Stratton, the WWE women's champion. The winner of that match will get the Crown Jewel Women's Championship ring. So that is the road to Crown Jewel. There could be more matches added, although that is 4. We usually get 5. So expect one more match to be added to Breakfast with WWE. Now, NXT what we're not saying that. Oh, NXT Showdown. How many of you are enjoying the invasion of TNA invading NXT? I've been catching highlights because I do not have the CW network here in Indianapolis, which is kind of weird because like Channel 4 was a big deal back in the day for pro wrestling. So I don't understand why the CW doesn't offer their network for us here in Indianapolis. It's a hold on a second. Let me give you that little Robert Stack. It's a wrestling unsolved mystery. So maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to find a way to watch NXT Showdown. The card is looking pretty good. I mean, we have 4 matches on this card. I'm going to run through it real quick. We've got a singles match for the NXT North American Championship. The champion, All Ego Ethan Page versus Mustafa Ali. We've got a winner takes all match for the TNA World Tag Team Championships and the NXT Tag Team Championships. Everyone is banned from ringside. Everyone. So we should get a pretty even tag team match here. The Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. They are the TNA World Tag Team Champions, and they are going up against Dark State, Dion Lennox, and Osiris Griffin, who are the NXT Tag Team Champions. This one, I mean, come on. How do you not let the Hardy Boys just absolutely continue their dominance as one of the greatest tag teams of all time? They still got it. They still got it. And I would love to see Matt and Jeff win this match and take it all. The other two matches on this card are two matches that warm my heart because all of you who listen to WellsMania Podcast know how much Survivor Series, and I'm not talking about war games, I'm talking about old school, traditional elimination tag team Survivor Series matches. We're getting two of them next week on NXT Showdown. We've got a 4-on-4 women's Survivor Series tag team match. Team NXT, JC Jane, Jada Parker, Sol Ruka, and Lola Vice versus Team TNA, Kalani Jordan, Jessie McKay, Cassie Lee, and Mara Sade. Now, Mara Sade looks very familiar. A lot of you might remember her as Jakara Jackson in NXT. So a little revenge here for Mara Sade. That match is going to be a lot of fun. We also have a 4-on-4 men's Survivor Series tag team match. Team NXT, Ricky Saints, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Miles Bourne versus Team TNA, Mike Santana, Frankie Kazarian, Moose, and Leon Slater. Now, there is one name on the Team TNA team that I'm very disappointed that he's not on the team, and that is Matt Cardona. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. How do you not have Matt Cardona on Team TNA? Hey, anything can happen between now and next Tuesday. So NXT Showdown on the CW network. Hopefully I will be able to watch it. Maybe I'll invade. See what I did there? And be able to watch it. Because I also want to watch Halloween Havoc. I love going back and rewatching old Halloween Havoc pay-per-views from the WCW glory days. Let's see. What else is coming up? How about something local? Something here in my home city of Indianapolis, Indiana. Now, the event is not coming up soon. That is not until next March of 2026. However, tickets go on sale for Squared Circle Expo 6 this Friday. And those tickets are going to sell out fast as they always do. So do yourself a favor, get on Squared Circle X. That is squaredcirclex.com this Friday and buy your tickets for Squared Circle X, because I have been to every single one of these. And shout out to Adolfo and Ed Gonzalez, friend of the WellsMania podcast, Ed Goatzales. Those two, along with a just cornucopia and plethora of other all-stars who put together the best, and I don't want to say Midwest Expo. This is the best wrestling convention and expo in the world. Am I biased? Absolutely. But I've been there. I've been to every single one of these, and I've been heavily enthralled in Squared Circle Expo. So I'm really looking forward to attending my 6th one. And Ed has already asked me to host the costume contest. It was a big hit earlier this year. I almost said last year. Earlier this year. So I look forward to doing that again next year. And maybe, just maybe, Ed, I know you're watching, brother, put Megamondo in the Squared Circle Expo Rumble. That would be bananas. So tickets go on sale this Friday for Squared Circle Expo. You can go to squaredcirclex.com to get your tickets March 27th and March 28th, 2026 at the Wyndham Indianapolis West. Put it on your calendar. And, you know, I get asked this a lot. And actually, I think this is a good segue to go into Ask Wells Mania, because this is something I like to do when I do these solo episodes, because I can literally ramble on and on and on, but I like getting you guys involved as much as I can. Sooner or later, WellsMania Podcast will be going live. I'm still trying to, about to become a father, so I've got my priorities of being a dad top of the list and being a husband at the top of the list. So getting WellsMania to go live for an extra, I think it's like $50 a month. It's a little bit lower on the totem pole, but I put this out on my WellsMania Facebook page. Ask WellsMania. I'll mention you and answer your questions on episode 192 of WellsMania Podcast. And first of all, shout out to everybody who actually engages back and puts questions down. Now, some of these questions, they're serious, and then some of them are not so much. But anyways, the first question we have, it relates to Squared Circle Expo. Brad Sparks, friend of the WellsMania podcast. He's a top fan on the WellsMania Facebook page. Brad asks, how excited are you that tickets for Squared Circle Expo are on sale this Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time? And who are you hoping to see this year? So, Brad, to answer your question, I'm beyond excited, brother. This will be my 6th Squared Circle Expo. I've been there since the very beginning. I have seen the growth of this convention, and it has just absolutely topped the year before. So expect big things at Squared Circle Expo 6. And I thought it was funny. Ed Gonzalez replied to Brad, are you on my payroll? Amazing plug, my dude. Thanks. Brad said, not on the payroll, but had an amazing time at Squared Circle Expo 5 for his first time, and he can't wait to go to Squared Circle Expo 6. And then I said, I'm hearing rumblings that Mega Mondo wants in the Squared Circle Expo 6 Rumble next year. Ed replied, I can't always, in all caps, have a Rumble. My payroll was out of control. So, Ed, wherever you can get Mega Mondo on the card, I'm super cheap. I'll do it for free, brother. For free. You don't even have to pay Mega Mondo. Well, he'll do it for bananas. So yeah, Brad, great question. As far as who I would love to see at Squared Circle Expo 6, and making sure that Ed's bank account still is running wild, I would love to see the Nature Boy. Woo! The Nature Boy. Ric Flair. I would love to see Ric Flair run wild at Squared Circle Expo 6. If we're aiming for a home run and a just, break the bank, bring him in, because I think you'd get your money back if you brought this guy in, The Undertaker. If you had The Undertaker headline Squared Circle Expo 6, Ed, I know that his booking fee is outrageous, but I believe that you would make that money back, because I and, tens of thousands of other people would love to meet The Undertaker. And if The Undertaker did a rare meet and greet at Squared Circle Expo 6, that would really draw people from way outside of the state of Indiana to make the trip to Indiana for Squared Circle Expo 6. So we shall see. It's one of my favorite parts about the road to Squared Circle Expo is the guest announcements. So be sure to go to squaredcirclex.com, stay up to date with all the latest. Tickets go on sale this Friday at noon, and you can follow Squared Circle Expo on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Tell them WellsMania sent you. Here's another question from Chris Engel. When will we finally see Mega Mondo get into the ring with the one they call Gunta? Well, first and foremost, I hope Gunta is recovering from his injury. So, Chris, to answer your question, whenever Gunta is medically cleared, Mega Mondo will be there, ready to go bananas with Gunta. I don't know if Gunta likes potassium, but he's going to get a whole lot of it going one-on-one with Mega Mondo. So, Gunta, be careful what you wish for, because it might mega come true. So If you want some, come mega get some is my answer. Friend of the WellsMania Podcast, Kevin Dininger, a former Wells Maniac of the Year. I love you, Kevin. You are, dude. When I say die hard, you put me over so much. You called me your favorite podcast and podcast hoster out of everybody. And that means the world to me, brother. So thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. And so many words that are not coming out right now, but I appreciate you, brother. Who is your dream opponent for Cena we never got to see? That's a great question. That is a great question. John Cena versus Hulk Hogan, ultimate, dream match for me. My childhood hero versus my adult hero. Was fortunate enough to get John versus The Rock. Would have loved to somehow, some way, got John Cena versus Hulk Hogan. So that's like my ultimate dream match is John Cena versus Hulk Hogan. Brother, great question. Chad Mullican, how many commercials will we see before Cena's final match on Saturday night's main event? And will we see one during it? Listen, I hope that Peacock and WWE, they've got time. You've got months. Get it all paid for now. You're $1 billion. Both of you are $1 billion company. Peacock, you've got billions of dollars. WWE, you've got billions of dollars. TKO Group's got billions of dollars. Can we make this an ad-free show? Is that too hard to ask? It's John Cena's final match. It does not need to be interrupted by anything else but wrestling. John Cena. I want John. If we're going to do ads, let's do John Cena promos from his career or highlights from his matches. I'm cool with that. Let's make this a fully loaded John Cena show. No ads. So Chad, hopefully none is the answer to your question there, brother. Let's see here. How about Cody Mullican? That's Chad Mullican's brother. Cody Mullican says, what would you say is your favorite Jared Dudley moment? And for those that don't know, Jared Dudley was an NBA basketball player. I think he's retired now from the NBA. But Cody Mullican is Jared Dudley's biggest fan. And my favorite Jared Dudley moment is when you, Cody, got to meet Jared Dudley. I think that is really cool that you got to meet somebody that you're a fan of, that you look up to, that inspires you. I always encourage that if you get the opportunity to meet your hero, do it. Do it because you weren't disappointed. Jared Dudley was super cool to you, took pictures, signed autographs. You had a great conversation with him. Everything you could ever want meeting somebody that you are a big fan of. And also Jared Dudley winning an NBA title with my boy LeBron James in the Los Angeles Lakers. So great question right there. And there was another, where did it go? There was another question on here from WWE Human Encyclopedia, Jared Giles, but it looks like he's since deleted it. He's definitely ready for the Hardy Boys versus Dark State. Delete. So let's see here. I think there was one more question, and this comes from TikTok because I also put this on TikTok. And only one person sent me a question. So thank you so much. Carlo456 on the TikTok. He said, what is a dream match that will never happen? Well, I kind of hinted at it earlier. John Cena versus Hulk Hogan is a personal dream match of mine that will never happen, unfortunately. One that really got away from us where we had the opportunity to have it was The Undertaker versus Sting at WrestleMania. That could have happened, but it didn't. Instead, we got Triple H versus Sting, which was fun. But I think that The Undertaker versus Sting at that WrestleMania would have been just a bigger draw. and a bigger attraction, just in my opinion. Another dream match that, I mean, I wouldn't say never, but my goodness, it has been there, and I've been salivating over it for years now. And I'm talking about The Rock versus Roman Reigns. It is literally right there. It is right there. It is so close to happening that I think we are finally going to get it in Saudi Arabia at WrestleMania 43 in 2027. So give me The Rock versus Roman Reigns as a dream match that, out of the three that I just listed, is the most likely to happen. And I hope it does. I mean, how do we never get The Rock versus Roman Reigns? How do we never get that match? It is so juicy of a match. And there's only one place that it can happen, and that's at WrestleMania. The Rock on Young Rock told a young Roman Reigns that the world's not ready for it, and that match can only take place at WrestleMania. Well, guess what, Rock? And I know you watch WellsMania Podcast. The world is ready. The world is ready for The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So give us The Rock versus Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania 43, 2027. Book it, hopefully. But yeah, those are all the questions for Ask Wells Mania. I thank you all so much for participating in the Ask Wells Mania portion of the podcast. And usually I'm joined by a guest or multiple guests. So being able to do the Ask Wells Mania on a solo episode gives me more time to really dive into your questions. So on future episodes, if you would like to be mentioned on WellsMania Podcast, this is the easiest way to be a part of the show. Is whenever you see me put out on my Facebook, Ask WellsMania, or on my TikTok, Ask WellsMania, or on my Twitter, Ask WellsMania. I didn't do it on Instagram. I forgot to do it on the gram. So maybe that's where all the questions will come in from, is the gram, as the kids say. The IG. This is for Aiden Achong. 6767. I don't know what it means, but the kids, apparently, they love saying it. Let's see. I'm pretty sure that covers everything that I wanted to get to. John Cena's final match. I hope to be there. I booked John Cena's last 5 opponents. We are on the road to Crown Jewel. Breakfast with WWE is what we are calling Crown Jewel. NXT versus TNA Showdown. That is next week on the CW, October 7th. And Ask Wells Mania. So we nailed it. We got to everything that I wanted to get to in under an hour. So thank you all so much for taking the time to run wild with me on episode 192 of WellsMania Podcast. And yeah, it just kind of hit me. We are only 8 episodes away from 200 episodes of WellsMania Podcast. Now, give or take, it might be more than that or sooner than that. WellsMania Podcast has had quite the journey, quite the road, so to speak. A lot of people always compliment me and say, man, I can't wait to be where you are, WellsMania. And I said, I can't wait for you to be there as well. And then further than me, because I'm not even where I want to be. But I just really appreciate all of you for supporting WellsMania, running wild with me, and just enjoying me being me and talking pro wrestling to all of you. I even won over some AEW fans on episode 191 of WellsMania Podcast when I spoke praises to AEW. So you never know. You never know what you're going to get on an episode of WellsMania Podcast. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for running wild with me. Be sure to subscribe to the WellsMania Podcast right here on YouTube, and follow me all over everywhere at WellsMania. Go buy WellsMania merch on brainbustertees.com. I got the fall line running wild for you. It might be fall wherever you are, but there's sweatshirts, crew sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts. There's all sorts of cool stuff on there. Brainbustertees.com, WellsMania Podcast. I pop right up. And yeah, you can book me on Cameo. I'm kind of curious to see if anybody books me on Cameo after watching this episode of WellsMania Podcast. But thank you all so much. Until next episode, take care, stay positive, run wild, and dominate the day. John Cena's last match. I'm mentally preparing myself, but I still won't be ready.